Hi, welcome back to Erik the Linguist. In this tutorial, I'm going to introduce to you passive voice. It's good that we revise what is the formation of passive voice before we move on to understand more about the motivations behind using passive voice. Although the term voice may be a little bit confusing because it has little to do with what verbs do, as we understand it. But if we look at the ancient Greeks' perspective on grammar, okay, voice would mean the roles that a verb take in order to arrange the arguments. That means the subject and object in a statement, and show the direction of the action flowing from the subject and the object, or the way around. So English verbs will have two types of voice. So obviously, as we understand, active voice and passive voice. In order to understand more about how we are forming passive voice from active sentences, it will be good for us to understand how clauses form. Okay, so for clauses, if you remember our previous tutorial on forming clauses, you will know that a clause will at least consist of a subject and a verb. If we translate this into something more dynamic, reflecting the meaning of a sentence, we would say the verb would represent some kind of an action, and the subject here would be referred to as an actor or a doer. And just a reminder for you that only transitive verbs can be used to form passive sentences. Okay, so it would be good if we add one more element to a clause, and that is subject, verb, object. Okay, so this is the basic sentence structure that we were taught when we were at school. Okay, and translating this into actor and action, the subject, of course, will be the actor that does the action, and the object will be what we call the acted upon, okay, who or what receives the action. So in active voice, you can see the direction of the action will flow from the actor towards the acted upon. So for example, the crowd sang a song. And in this sentence, we call this sentence an active sentence, okay, in active voice, with the verb sing in past tense, okay, so sang, and the crowd as a subject will be the actor who did the action of singing, okay, and then a song as the object will be something that receives the action. Okay, so you can see in active sentences, the direction of the action will flow from the crowd who does the action to a song who receives the action in the past. Okay, and what about we reverse the direction of the action as well as the position of the acted upon and the actor? So we have the acted upon as the subject. Okay, so now we have the acted upon that receives the action starting the sentence, and the actor will be in the object position. So we can assume that the direction of the action will flow reversingly from the actor, from the end of the sentence, back to the acted upon in the subject position. Okay, so for example, using our previous example, so we have all the elements laid out here. So we have a song as the subject now, but remember it is still the acted upon, something that receives the action, and we have the verb sing, and we have the crowd, something or someone that does the action or do the action, okay, but now is in the object position. In this situation, we have to change the active verb into passive. And the structure of a passive verb would be using a verb to be followed by the past participle of the verb. So by verb to be, we mean in present tense is MR, the linking verbs, or the past form was or were, future form will be, and for a perfect tense, or the perfect aspect of the verb to be will be has, have, or had been. And if you still remember the table for us to memorize all the past tense and past participles, you will find the past participles on the right hand side of the table. Okay, it's just like this one. So we have do with the past participle done, or kill, killed, catch, caught, sing, sung. If we go back to our example, the original sentence in active voice was the crowd sang a song. Okay, so the verb sang is in past tense. So when we convert the active sentence into a passive voice, we have to keep the past tense as well. Okay, so the resulting sentence would be a song was sung by the crowd. And in this case, a song will be the subject that receives the action. Okay, and the passive verb was sung is used, and then the crowd as the object who takes the action. But in this case, it is now in the object position, and the preposition by will be clearly mark who does the action. Okay? So a quick summary of this tutorial. In English, we have active voice and passive voice. And the formation of a passive verb would be changing the active verb with the verb to be, the linking verb, followed by the past participle. And remember, you can only convert transitive verbs into passive voice. In the upcoming tutorial, I'll tell you more about the motivations behind using passive voice. Okay, so that's all from me. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra!